everybody, welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm your host, Tom Vasel, and we're here to talk about all sorts of things board gaming. First of all, I'd like to tell you about a couple things. If you go to the Dice Tower website right now, to the top 10 list section, go there and vote on the best games of 2014. We're going to be talking about those quite soon on both our audio show and on a video show, and we want to get the listeners' input. What do you guys think are the best games of 2014? While you're there, there's all sorts of things on the website. The website is still in the process of being reworked. We're actually doing some moving of servers this week, and you're going to start seeing changes very soon to the website. But still, everything works right now. You can see reviews. If you want to find our promos and stuff that are at the website, click on donate, and there's other things there that you can find. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually quite early, I'm going to be doing a live question and answer. I did one last week, late at night. Now I'm doing one in the afternoon. I'm just trying to do different time frames so different people around the world can find them. So 2 p.m., check out our live events. I'll be answering your questions if you're interested in that. We're also planning a live event of 18 hours, not 24, 6 less. Will that make it easier? I can hope so. December 19th, we'll be playing games from 6 p.m. It's from December 19th all the way through the night to the next day till about noon. And we might go a little bit longer, but probably not. This time we did this this year, early in January. We're doing it again. And this time I'll have a list of games that we're doing planned ahead of time. We've already gone through some games that you'll see. I think we're going to be playing Dead of Winter and some other games. So just interesting games. If you have a game that you'd love to see us play, mention it. Maybe we will. But we're trying to think about finding games that are very interesting to watch and things that will also keep us awake. So that's coming up. All right, anyhow, let's get to the news. Okay, first of all, Plaid Hat Games has released the rules and some pictures of their upcoming game, Spectre Ops: Shadows of Babel. Now, I had a chance to play a prototype of this at Origins. It's a fantastic game. Think of Scotland Yard with guns. One guy is trying to sneak through and accomplish a mission. Everyone else is trying to find him. And everyone has special abilities with miniatures. Guys, this game is going to be amazing. The AEG has announced Dark Seas, done by Anthony Rubo, who did Space Sheep and Hey Waiter. This looks like it's a pirate game. There's quite a few of those out right now. This one looks like a light pirate game. There's quite a few of those out too. How's this one different? You can go to their website and read the rule book. Guerrilla Games is going to be releasing the worst game ever. I don't know that they're talking about the game, but as in this one, you're backstabbing and fighting and doing nasty things to each other. So maybe it would have been better named the nastiest game ever. I'm very excited about Scythe from Stonemaier Games. This is coming to Kickstarter next year, but Scythe, first of all, it's Stonemaier Games, and they put out superb products so far, but the cover is amazing. Look at that thing. It's beautiful. And they're describing it as a mix of Kemet and Agricola, and it's an alternate timeline where it's the early 1900s, around World War I time, but there's mechs involved. It's like they made the game for me. Ravenwood Castle is a place where you can stay in Ohio, and you can stay there, and there's board games there. It's a pretty cool thing. It's like a board game / hotel, and that's something that I've always wanted to go see and do, and it's also like a castle. They're opening the Malted Meeple. This is the first, and it's actually made a franchise of basically gaming cafes in Ohio. The first one's going to be in Hudson, Ohio, so that's interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Maybe when I go through Ohio, I'll be able to stop at a couple of these places. Let's see some of the games on my shelf today. First of all, we have Descent. Now, Descent is currently taking up 4 boxes, and I don't have everything for Descent 2nd Edition. Several of the new monster packs I don't have, but I have the Descent 2nd Edition. I have all the expansions for it. I also have everything from first expansion that was able to be brought over, and I have many of the lieutenants, although I'm not sure I have all of them. I also have Lost Valley, which is a great exploration game. This is the 2nd edition, just came out from Pandasaurus. Panic on Wall Street, which is a really fun game. I like it because it plays up to 11 players, And it's kind of like this real-time negotiation game, very fun. And then 2 boxes here for Thunderstone Advance. Epic style. I say that because if I had kept everything for Thunderstone Advance, it would take more than 2 boxes. But since I only play the epic way, where I only need like 4 copies of each card, it cuts down a lot of the room on this awesome deck builder. Grimoire is a small little card game where you have a spell book, and each round of the game, you're picking different spells, and you're trying to cast spells and try to outwit the other players and pick different spells than them. Then over here I have the Renegade Wizard, which is like an adventure book. You can actually play through this like Dungeons & Dragons, keep track of your stats. And then Masks. This is a book about, it's 1,000 NPCs for any role-playing game. Now that's pretty cool. I mean, you go through and there's all these different people, they're fleshed out, so you can use these for different games. That's pretty cool. I think I might keep it for that, but the main reason I keep it is because it was dedicated to Jack Vasel. And so that's kind of special to me, and so that's why it's on my shelf. So let's keep going.
Traveling across the sand as you're leading your caravan, trying to get your people to thrive in the game of 5 tribes. Plenty of ways to win. My favorite be a gathering gin. Trying to get your people to thrive in the game of 5 tribes. They call up the city from the ancient game. Gather lots of points and ropes for the suited raid. Try to find your fate as you overthrow the sultanates. Hope that you thrive in the game of 5 tribes. Yellow, blue, green, red, and white, just like Arabian Nights. Hoping for your people to thrive in the game of 5 tribes. Your enemies plant your hope to spoil. This would probably be a war game if they had discovered oil. The oracles have all foretold, win with influence and gold. Hoping for your people to thrive in the game of 5 tribes. Hoping for your people to thrive. 5 tribes.
Geek Out and Geek Out Pop Culture Party by Alicia Teague and Dan Rowan are 2 great party-style trivia games. Pop culture parties categories are movies, songs, books, TV, and mainstream stuff, while original Geek Out is sci-fi, comic books, fantasy, and that sort of thing. Name 4 Batman villains, or name 5 Romeo and Juliet characters, but before you try, other players get to outbid you. The person with the highest bid, they get to try the challenge. If they succeed, that's a point. If they fail, that's -2 points. 5 points and you win the game, yeah! The Illustrations from USAopoly is another great party game for 5 to 8 players. Or 12 if you have the party box. Woo, party! It's Pictionary meets Broken Telephone. Each player gets a dry erase booklet and a secret word. Players alternate between drawing and guessing. If everyone can draw, it's butterfly, 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 all the way down. But when you can't draw, oh man, does it get weird. The Game of Things is a great guessing game where the goal is to identify which of your friends said which weird thing. Like, things you shouldn't keep in your back pocket, or things puppets want for Christmas. And everybody writes down a thing, like live squid. I'll let you guess which category that belongs to. Then they give their answers to the reader, and the reader, Balderdash style, reads them all out. Players take turns trying to guess who said which thing. Tons of laughter, and unlike a certain black box game, you supply the answers, so you control how inappropriate the game gets. If you like, it can be totally clean with puppies and kittens and stuff like that. But if you prefer, it can be...
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Hope you enjoyed Party Games Part 2. and have a happy holidays.
Inappropriate.
Today I'm taking a look here at grip mats. These are from Break From Reality Game. I have 3 different ones here. We have space, we have more space, so this one's with planets, and then we have a grassy one. Now these aren't the exact size of the ones that they sell on the website, but they're close enough, and it shows this material. This material is really light, and it's made up of some patented material that's supposed to keep things from sliding. So when you throw things on it, they're not going to slide all over the place. This one here actually has the name in the corner of Zaya, the Legend of the Drift System. That's a cool thing. You put Zaya on top of here, put the tiles in the background. I'd probably use it just as much for X-Wing, so moving my ships around looks a lot better when there's that space background. And really, they don't move. If you look at this, if you know anything about X-Wing, it's when you're putting the things down, you want to make sure that they don't move at all. So I would, personally, I like to get this one here for X-Wing or Star Trek if you play that. This one's okay, this background, but I prefer the ones with stars. And then this one might be good for things like Dungeons and Dragons Attack Wing, or maybe any other miniatures game where you need some grass, or maybe just, you can get them in all different colors and things. So that's from Break From Reality Games, the grip mats. They're actually really nice quality, and I like them quite a bit. They can be rolled up pretty easily and stored, and then you can use them for play.
So I go way back with a lot of games, but probably the one that's influenced me the most as a designer is Through the Ages. Just because of the way that Lattes kind of started with the source material of the computer games and took that into board game form and was able to jettison a lot of the basic things that you would expect in a board game, like, a board or a map in a Civilization game. So just opened my eyes to just seeing, you can take, a core assumption for a board game and just completely get rid of that and start from scratch and build up something that really takes advantage of the effects that you're trying to achieve in the game. So for me, that was a huge influence on me with Through the Ages.
Hi, Suzanne here with this week's featured board game app. For a game that has adorable penguins in it, Hey That's My Fish can be pretty cutthroat at times. Released by Fantasy Flight, does the app version stand up to their usual high-quality standards? Let's take a quick look. In what is essentially a very simple abstract game, Hey That's My Fish has you moving your penguins in straight lines. When you move, the tile you are on disappears, and you claim the points that match the number of fish that were on that tile. You can't cross over another penguin, and you lose your penguin when it has no further moves, which creates some interesting opportunities to cut opponents off and watch their poor little penguins get eaten by an orca. You play until all penguins are in the drink, and the highest score wins. As expected with Fantasy Flight, Hey That's My Fish has great production quality, especially for an app that's 3 years old at this point. The graphics are cute and polished, and the game plays great on a tablet or phone-sized screen. The rules are exceedingly simple, and the implementation makes it a breeze to go through them. There's no tutorial, but the rules are so easy and done so well, this is a very rare instance where I'll say you don't need one. There's simple but effective pass and play, and 3 levels of AI. I've seen some complaints about the AIs being too easy, but I really stink at this game, so I'm still losing to the normal AI. But the best part of this game is the different tile layouts you can unlock through achievements. And good news, the app is available for iOS, Android, and even the Kindle. The one thing missing from this game is online play. I really wish they'd update to include this feature, and the lack thereof is what holds this game back from being a top-tier app. Hey That's My Fish is a family favorite that simplicity and theme make it really accessible, but still has enough strategy to make it interesting. It's well done, straightforward app, and I recommend it in spite of the missing online play. Give it a try.
we got 20 reviews out to you last week. I was very excited about that. But you might say, Vasel, those were all very small games. Well, here's the thing. I got 20 more reviews for you this week, and they are some they're bigger games. How's that? One of these games is a reprint of a game that's over 10 years old. One of these games is one of my favorite of the year. One of these games is a game I think that has a lot of buzz, and I don't think anyone's talked about this one much in a while because no one knows much about it, but I got the scoop for you coming this week. Isn't it like so ambiguous? I'll also be taking a look at a game about Pinocchio, a game that reminds me of Race for the Galaxy, a game that reminds me a bit of Hanabi, a sequel, a game that involves Eric Summerer. Lots of different games coming for you this week. So there's that. And also a top 10 list. Our top 10 best game experiences. And then some other reviews from all the different guys. And of course, everything at DicetowerNetwork.com and all the different podcasts there, which should keep you going. You should never run out of stuff if you check that out. All right. Well, let's see what the list says is next. And that would be Chaz.
Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise, and we're counting down my official top and bottom 3 games of 2014. These are the standouts that I played this year for the very first time, and in this installment, I divulge disappointing game number 2, Blue Moon Legends. The main thing that disappointed me about Blue Moon Legends was that I went in expecting a completely different experience. And that's totally on me, and I should have just done more research into it beforehand. See, from the descriptions that I heard and read, the gameplay sounded a lot more strategic. But it turns out that it's basically an elaborate version of the card game War. Albeit it's a fancy-prancy, souped-up version of War. But War is really the cake that's underneath all of this frosting. The other source of disappointment, and this may just be nitpicking here, the goal of the game is to lure 4 dragons to your side, but there's only 3 provided. And during the course of the game, you collect these dragons on your side of the board in a tug-of-war struggle, and win the instant that you would collect the 4th one. So, technically, yes, you don't need a 4th plastic dragon, because the game ends immediately when it would join your ranks. And there's no reason for you to harbor it on your side of the board for just a microsecond before the game ends. I realize this. I'm not crazy. And yes, I understand that excluding this 4th apocryphal plastic component probably saved tens of thousands of dollars on production and shipping costs over the product's lifetime. But come on! When I finally successfully win the allegiance of this 4th dragon that I have worked so hard to lure over to my side, and have done so only after repeatedly correcting my opponent that no, you don't win after placing the 3rd dragon on your side of the board, there is in fact an imaginary 4th one that we're fighting for as well, and no, I am not just making up rules as we go along in order to keep you from winning the game, and then there's nothing for me to physically grab and place onto my side of the board when I finally achieve victory? Well, it's just a little disappointing. That's all.
Hey folks, Tom Vasel here.
Jason Levine.
And today's question is, what games make good snacks? What snacks are good for game time?
Well, my favorite game as a snack is Piece of Cake, but actually, there's a couple different snacks I like. I like turkey sandwiches, as everyone knows from the 24-hour gaming session. And, of course, Doritos and potato chips. No, but in all seriousness, the snacks that I like to bring when I'm gaming is pretzels. I think pretzels are much better
Pretzels are the
than chips.
number one snack. They're not as bad for you as chips.
And you don't get grease on the games, so people are happy. And also candy. I like to bring candy. Not so much chocolate,
Not quite as
that
good for you.
melts, but M&M's or Starburst or Skittles or something that's a candy that I think that those are the best because they also won't leave a mess on your games.
I really like the chocolate covered or the yogurt covered pretzels. If you leave them in the can or something, they don't get the chocolate all over your hands usually, but they're usually gone really fast. I don't know why that's such a good...
Yeah, that's a little too much for me.
What about vegetable trays? As long as there's no dip?
Okay. No, I wouldn't mind dip either. Dip doesn't bother me. But most people don't want to eat vegetables when they're gaming. I'm sorry. This isn't like a picnic. This is gaming.
I don't know. I could eat carrot sticks. Okay. Well, I think the fact is, it all depends on the gaming group. For me, you know me, I don't mind really what snacks are at the table. There's some snacks I'm not real keen on. Salsa always worries me because salsa is very spilly.
Yes.
It spills all over the place. Cheetos scare me. Fried chicken scares me.
Cheetos are the worst.
Because of the grease it gets all over you.
Doritos too, like I was joking about that before, but Doritos, you don't...
Well, Doritos aren't as bad as...
They get... Your fingers turn completely red, and as soon as you touch something, it's going to ruin the game.
That's true. So,
and I care about my games enough that... Which is why I will only eat candy, pretzels. Those are the only things I eat by my game.
Now, when it comes to drinks, I prefer that people either use a can or to use a bottle. Because the bottle is the best, because you can put the lid on the bottle when you're not drinking it.
I think bottle is the best. But something that I do that Tom doesn't, which kind of annoys me, he has it out there. I like to use these. I like to use these handy-dandy cup holders for the drink on the side of the table, because you don't want your drink spilling on a game, and that's the biggest faux pas, spilling a drink. So I use
But what
the cup
about
holders.
a coaster?
A coaster's okay too, but if you could keep them off the table, it's better, because you never know. Some random person goes,
Okay.
See Daisy.
No, it's not open, folks.
And it goes over.
But what if someone doesn't have one of these tables? I know some people keep them on the floor.
I
keep them on the floor.
Like we were just gaming the other day at Cool Stuff, and I had one of those, the cups with the plastic lid on top, like one of those typical. I got it from Publix with my sub, and I had my thing on the floor instead of putting it on the table, because if it tips, that lid's going to fall off and it's going to spill everywhere.
Okay, so I think we went from tips on what good snacks to eat to how to eat snacks at the table. But the simple thing is you need to be cognizant of whose game it is, whose table it is, and what they want. Some people don't mind, but some people really do mind, and so you got to be careful. No one complains about bottled water usually, especially if you keep the lid on.
Exactly.
Or bottled drinks in general.
And in general, it's good to have snacks with you when you're playing games, so you don't get hungry in the middle of the game. It's better just have some snacks so you can get your energy, keep your energy up. It's a good thing.
Alrighty. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
Board games, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the... Hello? Hello? Oh my god!
Hello.
Oh, it's you.
Yes, I can't do it in this. This is far too impossible. As you can probably tell by the elaborate costumes, we're looking at sci-fi things this week. Yeah, well, that as well. We're looking at sci-fi things this week. We're considering sci-fi board games, but we're considering the fact that they encompass such a huge range of different types of games within the sci-fi genre, and it is probably the biggest genre. So
It's a massive
we're going to
genre,
look at some of my favourites. It's sort of like a top 5, but probably with more than 5. So it's
It's not a top 5.
top 7, maybe 8.
We'll see where we get.
Cooperative. I particularly like cooperative games. They're not everyone's cup of tea. Some people don't like them. There can be only one. It is Battlestar Galactica. It has everything you want. It has the traitor element. Even outside of the sci-fi genre, it is probably the best traitor element cooperative game out there, on par with Shadows over Camelot, if not slightly pipping it.
That can be very frustrating, I imagine.
In fighting, there can only be one. There can be only one. It is Twilight Imperium. It is the daddy of all games. A huge game. Miniature tabletop, we have X-Wing, probably at the top of my
Great miniatures
board.
in that.
Very much like that. Star Trek Attack Wing, worth an honourable mention.
Oi, Star Trek.
But probably the biggest subgenre within the sci-fi genre is the exploration transportation. I'm going to have to give it to Firefly and all of its expansions.
You do love Firefly.
But honourable mentions must go to Zia Legends of a Drift System, Merchants of Venus, and Star Trek Fleet Captains.
Star Trek Fleet Captains.
So lots of different games there, all within the sci-fi genre, but in their own little niches and stuff.
Sci-fi rules.
I don't want this video to get too long, so Tom thinks it's going to be shorter this week. I want to talk about selling games. Now, people sell games for various reasons. Some people sell games because they need money, so that's a way to get money. Other people sell games because they need to make room in their collection for other games. And some people sell games because they don't like them that much, so they're getting rid of them. I guess there's other reasons beyond that. Now, selling games is kind of an interesting point. For me, I don't normally sell games to make that much money from selling them, but some people are going to want to do that. So let's imagine I'm selling games and trying to maximize profit on them. Well, there's two things. One is eBay. Obviously, it's a good place to sell games because you'll find that audience for your game. I have done the the yard sales and stuff, and that will never work because people go into yard sale looking for a deal, like $1 a game, and they will never comprehend the fact that the games that you have at that yard sale are worth more than that. It's not something that people will understand. So you can sell them through Craigslist too, I guess, but eBay is easier because people are searching and finding. But before eBay, I would go to BoardGameGeek.com and sell them there. They have a marketplace there. It's very good. People are looking for very specific games, and you can put them there. There's also a whole trading section, but we're ignoring that today. We're just talking about selling games. People can also put up auction lists. Now, BoardGameGeek gets a cut of that money, just like eBay or PayPal will get a cut of the money if you use them. So it works out well, though, but you're preaching to the choir there. You're selling games to people that want them. Now, if you have the opportunity, like I do, I like to sell mine to my gaming group. I can sell them really cheap to them. But in the gaming group, it stays in the group. I like that. We're helping grow and get games out to people who want them, and also I don't have to pay shipping. And that is a really big deal about selling games because shipping can be quite expensive. So sometimes people, they ask me information. Sometimes someone will email me and say, Tom, if you're getting rid of that game, can you send it to me? I'd love to, but it's really a ton of work to find a box, put the game in a box, go ship it, pay for shipping. Sometimes, especially if it's overseas, it's a lot easier for someone in my game group who wants it. And then, like I said, I'm keeping the games in our local game group, which I think is pretty cool. Anyway, that's what I do. What do you guys do to sell your games?
You know that on Board Game Breakfast, we like to have a laugh and, joke around, talking about games, and just generally have a good time. Well, I don't know about all of you out there, but I've been going through some pretty serious stuff personally lately. I've been thinking about it for the past couple months, and I think now's the time to finally come out and talk about it. I really like Kingdom Builder. Kingdom Builder is an area control game released in 2011. Its awards include the Origins Best Game Award, the Golden Geek Award, and the Spiel des Jahres. But despite its huge initial surge, it doesn't have a very lasting legacy. It's ranked at only 333 on Board Game Geek. Kingdom Builder has never been on the People's Choice Top 100, and of the contributors who've done their own Top 100 lists, it's only ever been ranked on one, Eric Summerer's, at number 92. How could something make such a huge initial splash and then just go away? Well, I think it has less to do with the game and more to do with the designer, Donald X. Vaccarino. Kingdom Builder was his first major game after Dominion. I think people in the gaming community were divided. There were those who loved Dominion, who were disappointed in his sophomore slump, and those who disliked Dominion, who didn't want to see him have commercial success yet again. Well, to both of these camps, I would ask you to give Kingdom Builder another try. It's a family-weight game comparable to Ticket to Ride, designed to minimize analysis paralysis, which it does, while giving a group something pretty to put together and look at afterwards. Kind of like a puzzle. You see, it's a gateway game. Its function as a gateway game is served really well. I would argue that it's actually a better gateway game than Settlers of Catan. Yes, that's right. And although we may not play gateway games very much, we're typically responsible for introducing them to other people. For example, at family gatherings around the holidays. So this holiday season, give yourself the gift of a second chance with this forgotten game. And let's see if we can build a kingdom together.
And that's it for this week. Board Game Breakfast, guys. Thanks so much for coming along on yet another week. It's December. There's a lot going on. We are gearing up for the Dice Tower Kickstarter that's coming up. But before that, we have tons more reviews for you this month. We have, like I said, our best of 2014, the live gaming show coming up. There's just much going on. I hope to see some of you today at 2 o'clock for the question and answer time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at CoolStuffInc.com.